So welcome to this movie with me, Martin Fransson, that runs Welledge in Old Town, and with me today I have Dr. Patrick Keiran from the States. It's an honor. We've had a great weekend here. It's the second time in Sweden. And this video for about half an hour will be about how we as neurology-based chiropractors work with the nervous system and how we add in essential oils into rebalancing the nervous system and take away static that challenges the nervous system from doing what it's meant to be healthy. And so honored to have you as a mentor now in the field of essential oils. So it's going to be really great looking at this. So let's dive into it.
Okay.
So we know, as you know, as chiropractors and neurology-based chiropractors, as it comes to Ayurveda or Chinese medicine or Western medicine, we look at symptoms generally as a response of things being overactive in the system, to try to calm it down with medicines or different kinds of stimuli of things.
Exactly.
Or we have an symptoms that comes from the system being under aroused.
Mm-hmm.
And as chiropractors, we use tactile stimulation and movement generally, and we both use also sound and visual, but
Right.
we also added, and I'm now learning from you how to add essential oils into this pot of how to contribute to patients the most. So it's really great to, we have a little shot up there that we're going to dive a little bit into, but let's see your point in regards to the nervous system and how we can ourselves rebalance in it.
Excellent. So really the concept that I come from is that the brain and nervous system control the rest of the body, and keeping your brain and nervous system in balance and happy makes the rest of the body happy. So that's why it's so critical the way you and I assess the brain and nervous system to find out exactly what state it's in. And for example, most adults are in an over-aroused brain state, which means they're stuck in survival mode, they're stuck in fight or flight. And what that does is it amplifies certain brain waves that creates a lot of static in the brain and a lot of static in the nervous system. And when that happens, it really treats a lot of really vital parts of body function as frivolous. So your brain cares a lot less about mood and focus and concentration and memory, and it cares a lot, in fact, about a lot less about immunity. So when it thinks that those things are expendable and that they're not important and all it wants to do is survive, it creates a state of really ill health with people. You know, their heart rate stays up, so heart disease comes from that. You know, their cortisol, their hormones related to stress and survival elevate their blood sugar. So a lot of diabetes and other issues, really drastic issues, come from that stress response being too high. So it's really important in a couple of ways for us as chiropractors. For one thing, when we're reading brain function, we really need to diminish that survival mechanism in the brain so that we get really good information and we have a balanced and healthy brain to work with. So our results are better and our patients are healthier for sure. And we also need for our patients to be able to do this on their own, so that in between visits they're able to make sure they're reinforcing the patterns that we're helping to shift in the brain while they're here in the office. So it's really important to assess that, but it's equally as important to find out if somebody's in one of the other brain states, which is why they need to be here at Welledge. Because I don't think there's a lot of other offices around here that do that, and it's really a critical piece. And it made such a huge difference 6 years ago in my own practice when I started to use this technology, because, for instance, one of the brain states being unstable, you need to be able to tell which brain state somebody's in when they're in your office, because if you overstimulate them, they're going to crash. And if you don't give them enough stimulation when they're in the different state, nothing's going to happen, which is a waste for everybody. So it's really a critical piece, and what's been hugely advantageous for me with the essential oils is, as I said, not only being able to get better information from the brain while they're in my presence, but also to be able to give them the tools that they need. If we know that they tend to be under aroused,
Yeah.
we can give them a list of the oils that they should be diffusing in their house,
Yeah.
or some that they may need to be taking internally to be able to shift their health.
Yeah, yeah, because we know that the nervous system needs stimulation. I mean, we need things that touch us and move us. That is essential. That's like feeding the brain, and to get the right variety of stimuli in the right places. That's normally what's seen as chiropractic.
Right.
But also when we add that olfactory to stimulate through the smell, what we're smelling, how that has an impact on the brain, but the whole physiology.
Absolutely.
The knowledge that is so ancient, but we sort of like lost it.
Absolutely.
And now when we put it into a model about what we know today about how the nervous system and the brain functions and how it regulates all organ functions,
Right.
it becomes so much richer what we can actually achieve.
Absolutely. One of the things that we shared with our providers yesterday was a lot of data that we studied ourselves with having patients hooked up to EEG, looking at brainwave activity, and on one of the slides looking at frankincense being inhaled into the left nostril and into the right nostril, and you saw huge shifts in brain function.
Yeah.
And so we've got all of this validated. Besides the EEG, we've seen a lot of studies with functional MRI that are showing stimulation of different regions of the brain depending on the oil.
Yeah.
So we could go on for an entire week on all of these, but it really helps us tremendously to do our jobs better.
Yeah. So this just start as you as viewer to get overviewed from. I mean, you can look at scents, essential oils, a variety of ways. We're just using a model that is common for us, and that is also very usable as a health provider, where you do medical doctor, psychologists, physiotherapists. When we talk in regards to the nervous system and the brain's function, it's a common language. And when we bring how we can use essential oils to either stimulate the nervous system when you have symptoms that are, you're depressed, you're low, you're have high pain sensitivity. There's a variety of symptoms that are more tied to having an under-aroused nervous system, and we know which kind of scents, both whether you smell them or whether you actually take them topically on your skin or whether you digest them, that they have an effect of stimulating the system to rebalance itself.
I think one big distinction, just to butt in right there, we do have a lot of different kinds of providers on our team, and we have lots of chiropractors, MDs, acupuncturists, and one of the great things that people always report about using the essential oils with their patients and their clients is that the oils bring the patient and the body to balance.
Yeah.
So there's so many medical interactions, so many drugs that people use that might get the desired effect of inhibiting something, but it ends up inhibiting the whole system.
Yes.
And the oils are much more expressive. Instead of suppressing some physiologies and thereby suppressing the whole system, the oils are expressive. So they bring the system to balance, and actually, while they're suppressing what they need to, they're bringing out the best in the rest of the system.
Yeah.
And that's a huge distinction.
Yes, exactly. It's actually supporting the physiology to do what is meant to be in the best possible manner, without the least amount of distortions and distraction and noise to the system.
Exactly.
On the cellular level, on a neurological level, organ level, whichever level you look at. So, and also the beauty is obviously this is something that each one of us can add to our own health regime for what we're doing. I mean, going to see a chiropractor, what we look at is to see where are the distortions that distort the nervous system, and to address it in a very specific way. We can also give exercises, nutritional advices, and essential oil advices to get very specific and target. This is a very general overview that we're showing on this picture, but you can really get focused on what actually supports that individual person's physiology and nervous system to clear things out and express innate health. and support the innate intelligence that is there.
Absolutely, and there are dozens and dozens of oils, but like you were saying, if you and I can find exactly which oil it is that really matches the frequency in that patient's brain. So if you think of brain waves as radio waves, there's just like radio waves have a frequency, all of the oils do too.
Yeah.
And with the specialized work we do, we can match that frequency, and amazing things happen. It's like taking the remote control for your television and making sure it's like tuned in exactly to what it needs to be for your TV.
Yeah.
And that's what we're doing. We're tuning the brain into exactly the oil, and when that happens, all of your pictures are more clear.
Yeah.
And so your function is better, your feeling is better, your vitality is better. So it's really, like you said, this is general and it's great, and all oils are very helpful, but to be able to find a provider that's going to be able to match that perfectly for you is amazing.
Yeah, exactly. So tuning the system, because that's the core part of, although that we neurology-based chiropractic is all based in the very foundation of chiropractic, which is about the tone of the nervous system, the tone of life as such, expressed through cells and through nervous system, through the living being. And this is just a model that is more modern in regards to either we are in a perfect tone on a cell level, neurological level, organ level, or there are parts of us that has less, there's more slack in the system in a certain organ functions, or in communication between the brain and certain organ functions, or there's an over-aroused, too much tone, like you have the strings on a guitar or something. So it's all about tuning the system.
Exactly.
Tuning the system, and there's practically, the beauty is that when you pass, generally people seek out the chiropractor, any health provider, because they have a symptom. But we are not, as you said so beautifully, that for us it's not about killing the symptom and then it's good. It's about utilizing the symptom as just a part of the picture for what is it that needs to be supported so the physiology can work the best. We'll make a little, so we get there, beautiful.
Technical difficulties.
Technical difficulties.
There's an oil for that.
Yes, yeah. So we want the physiology to express its best, and then symptom goes away. But when symptom's gone away, there's no end to what chiropractic can provide, nor there's no end to what essential oils can be there for to support you to express your health and vitality in the best way.
Absolutely.
Irrespective of whether it's your physical function, your energetic levels, your emotional system, sleep, and cognitive function, and actually how we relate with each other, and also on a soul perspective to really feel connected and
absolutely
connect with oneself and connected with everything around you.
Absolutely. And I've seen a lot of transformation with patients and friends that have really been brought out of their shell, so to speak. People that really hit their peak happiness level.
Yeah.
I've had spouses say, it's amazing how much better our relationship is since he's been using Purify all the time.
Yeah.
And that was an instance of being able to find the right frequency match for somebody. I've seen little kids that are shy and withdrawn, that don't want to go and sit at a strange table at lunch at school, come out of their shell and really express their full potential. And that's what I love about them. That's one of the things that we stand for as chiropractors, is bringing people to their peak performance. Yeah. And the oils truly do that, whether it's peak musical performance, peak expression of your personality. Yeah. It's really unlimited.
Yeah. So we have now a diffuser going here from the company that we're working with, Doterra, which diffusing Frankincense, which is like one of the
my favorite
basis of essential oils, that whether you under-aroused, over-aroused, you have an exhausted nervous system, or your nervous system unstable, meaning that it can never match whichever speed your nervous system needs to be to match what the demand is from your surrounding. It is either too fast or too slow. And here it's always too speeded up, here it's always going too slow, and here it can't really respond to whatever the demand is properly. So Frankincense is we have it going on here now to support us doing this, hopefully giving you extra, but also in it we have wild orange, which is another beautiful essential oil that is creating that sense of abundance and vitality, although it has many other, both of these have a lot of other varieties.
Absolutely.
But let's just talk about those. We've spoken a bit about frankincense and about the brain,
Right.
and health, and what it can do to, as it regards to as many people being here,
Mm-hmm.
the anti-inflammatory function, the pain relief function, if you can
Right.
abbreviate a bit about that.
Yeah, so frankincense is one of the most versatile essential oils. So besides like the brain function, for people new to using oils, when in doubt,
Yeah.
always use frankincense.
Yeah,
But that being said, we keep talking a lot about internal use and topical use. It's very important that it's Doterra because
yeah,
not all oils are created equal. And as a physician, I always want to make sure that I'm using an oil that's consistent from batch to batch,
yeah,
and that is the most pure and the most potent. And the Doterra oils are third-party tested, and they've been university tested over and over again. And one university in the States found that it was the only brand that actually tested the same from batch to batch, bottle to
Yeah.
bottle. So you and I, as doctors, want to make sure that when we want somebody to use frankincense, that 4 bottles from now, it's going to
Yeah.
be exactly the same.
the best quality.
Exactly. And so, that being said, internal usage for frankincense, I have a lot of people for immune support put frankincense on the roof of their mouth every day. It's a really great delivery system to the brain. And as you already mentioned, it's an amazing anti-inflammatory. And most of the diseases that are killing our friends and
Yeah.
neighbors right now are all diseases of inflammation and toxicity.
Yeah,
And frankincense is the best reducer of inflammation and one of the best reducers of toxicity. So the foods we eat, the air that we breathe, the fertilizers that our next door neighbor uses,
yeah,
these are all things that are contributing to our chemical stress. And frankincense does an amazing job at a cellular level of reducing toxicity.
yeah,
So it's in a lot of blends that I recommend to patients that, like DDR Prime, for example, that we
Yeah.
spoke about in the class, that are great for connectivity, for people on the autism spectrum. It helps to balance the 2 hemispheres of the brain. For people with autoimmune disease that are always immune challenged, does great stimulation to the nervous system. There's really good research that I've seen at a medical symposium in the States last year, that looking at DDR Prime, that blend that we're talking about,
yeah,
they looked at biomarkers, and what they found was that for all autoimmune diseases, that unique blend of essential oils met or exceeded the standard of care for all autoimmune disease.
yeah,
So and frankincense is a huge piece of that. So it's my humble opinion that every household needs frankincense. Every mom, every teacher, every student, everybody needs frankincense. So I hope that answered your question. I
yeah,
don't know if that was
yeah. So that's like the
much.
minimum essential oils about have that, but as you said clearly, that it's that to have the best quality of that kind of essential oil, and to know that it has that potency, that it actually has those claimed effects that research shows, the best to go to, as far we know and research shows, is to this brand that we're working with, Doterra.
Exactly.
And so that's a really good way to put it through, and we will have opportunity that you can email us with questions and so forth. And as you hang on this, we will shift into giving you an opportunity actually to get access to these essential oils, not only frankincense, but spectra of essential oils that is sort of like the home care for you and your family to support a lot of different topics that can happen in regards to health and your well-being.
Exactly.
Although this is like the most common, that we are in fight and flight and we are not capable of shifting into healing the system, and we thereby cannot calm the nervous system, and the inflammation is like burning up, and this is very supportive. But what about the other one, the wild orange that we have going on here as well? This just smelling it makes that my feeling of abundance.
Absolutely. So yeah, those are the 2 oils that I started to diffuse initially in my office when I started to use essential oils. And wild orange in particular, as you said, is the oil of abundance. So, we sort of live in a stressful world, and even walking down the street, we've got images flashing at us. And so sometimes people are coming from a place of lack and feeling like they don't have enough, and being able to come from that sense of abundance, emotionally, energetically, really changes your outlook on life. One of the things that it specifically does is help to eliminate brain fog. And as you know, a lot of our patients, especially when we're first starting to work with them, really don't have that crisp clarity in their brain function. And wild orange is really great for eliminating brain fog. There's many great internal uses for it, and one of my favorite is the detoxification piece. Very quickly, we're made up of a bunch of cells in our body, and our cells have a protective layer called the cell membrane. And the way citrus oils work, in addition to wild orange, lemon, and grapefruit and lime work really well with this too. They will actually penetrate through the cell membrane, bind with toxins in every cell in your body, and help to remove them.
Yeah.
And that's critical, because even if you're eating organic and being very careful with your diet, again, we still have a lot of chemical stress in our society. And so I love wild orange for being able to help to reduce chemical stress.
Yeah. So it's another one that is really good to have.
Absolutely, and I put it in my water every time I drink. Sometimes I'll change it up with lemon or grapefruit, but wild orange is my favorite for putting in water.
And it's a good thing to take further on. So, I mean, you can go to any store wherever you're living and almost buy in most stores some kind of oil that's called essential, but as food additive. And you can go to a health food store and they have different brands and so forth. But we know that Doterra actually have that standard that you can safely smell it, diffuse it, like here. You can put it on your hands, on your wherever on your skin, or those certain essential oils. It's not that nice to get in your eyes, like peppermint and others.
Right.
And they're all basically very safe to take internal as well.
Exactly.
So
it's critical for the oils to be grown in the right place, because the chemistry, the therapeutic value, which Doterra is extremely focused, the most focused on compared to other companies. They're extremely focused on where they're grown, because the climate, the soil, the weather conditions is critically important for the chemistry of the oil. And it's critical how they're distilled, how they're processed, and how they're blended. Frankincense that we're talking about, they blend 4 different varieties to be sure it's got that therapeutic chemistry. And again, us as doctors, we want to make sure that there is that potency always, that purity always, and that the chemistry and the therapeutic value is always there. So whether it's wild orange, whether it's frankincense, whether it's any other kind of oil, it's critical to know that where it's coming from is important. And you hit a good note. You can buy frankincense at the health food store. In the United States, you can buy it at Walmart and Target, and it's 1/10 of the price, but you have no idea what's in it.
Yeah. And this might smell like fairly good, pretty good, but it's even the smell is so much better when it's high quality. But it's not about the scent as such. It's about the molecules that actually have the impact on your physiology that is desired and possible to get the most out of it.
And one quick thing to mention for people that are that concerned about quality, when you flip over a bottle of Doterra essential oil, there's a code, and they've got a website. On their website, there's a link called Source to You. You can input that number, and you can see the actual chemical analysis of that actual bottle of oil. Wow. That actually the batch that bottle came from, which again to me is hugely important, because I want that safety, I want that potency, and to make sure that my patients are getting the very best.
Yeah, that's great. So that's a little bit about the essential oils, and just covered 2, but you can see on this one that is also will be downloadable, and if you're just listening to this, you will have this slide that we're talking about as a PDF, so you can watch it and download it. And on that you will see in frankincense in all these 4 areas of different dysfunctions of the nervous system, but you also will see wild orange in the unstable area, because it has that capacity to a certain extent, as always, bring you to a more focused, balanced state. But hang on, and we will move further for those of you that are interested in actually get access to this, because depending on when you're seeing this, listening to this, there's an opportunity to get a very good possibility to get access to this
very reasonably
with extra bonuses as well. So stay tuned and we'll move into that. So welcome back.
Oh, thanks.
So for those of you that seeing this, listening to this in August 2018, this company that we're both working with, and you're my mentor for, Dr. Pat, I'm really glad for it. There's this possibility that you can get access to what's called Enrollment Kits.
Yes.
And we mainly promote one here now today, which is the Home Essential Kit, which Doterra has put together for you as a home user to have, for you and your family, the basic essential oils for a variety of possibilities that can arise in your home. Not only health issues that you have symptoms, but also like to support your function and your well-being, feeling well. And it includes a very high quality diffuser that Doterra has as well. So normally this has a price, but which you can see here below. But now in August, Doterra offers a 20% discount on this package,
which is amazing.
Yes.
Because the package is already discounted because of the bundled pricing.
Yeah.
So, and it's got Frankincense, which we just spoke about,
Yeah.
Which is my favorite. It's the most valued essential oil.
And
it's
normally very expensive.
Yeah, $70 wholesale, and you're getting 250 drops of frankincense, which is going to last you a long time, and a diffuser and 9 other oils.
Yeah.
So it's really an amazing bargain, and we don't have that in the States right now. So really, now is a really great time to jump in on it. And besides all of the value that you're getting from Doterra, the value that you get from Dr. Martin, being here to help guide you use the oils and answer your questions, is we've got a lot of healthcare providers on our team that we all conference quite frequently, but you've got Dr. Martin right here, and he's a really great resource. Yeah. And speaking of resources, you're also giving the Modern Essentials book.
Exactly, and for those that that's either you can get it as a printed version where all the oils and oil blends that Doterra offers are in it, and if you want, you can also either get it as a printed version, or I can give to you as it's an app with everything in it. So it's either way, depending on where you are living in Sweden, and also if you get it with the printed book, I also give the wild orange, a small bottle of wild orange. So that in itself is like you get an extra bonuses, and if you decide now in August to take this opportunity to join Doterra and get Home Essential Kit with the diffuser and 10 really high quality oils, which they're all 50 milliliter bottles, except one that is 5
the deep blue, the musculoskeletal blend, which is 5 milliliters, but 5 milliliters of it takes you a long way.
Yes,
it's a very strong and very, very effective for muscle tension, and it's really a great oil. Yeah, and this is like a home care package, but it also makes you for free member of Doterra business, so you can actually have your own account, so you can, whenever you decide, buy other stuff that Doterra offers, because they have a wide variety that you will find out of products of very high quality. Right, we're here to guide you.
Exactly.
Which like Doterra as a culture really loves. They want us to have masterminds, and for you to be able to reach out to us to be able to get information. But what's even more important is you're in control. You have your own account. You order when you want, what you want.
If you want.
If you want. There's no required order or anything like that. And being in control to look around and see what other needs there are in your home is for other people in your home, for decreasing chemical stress in your home, and as far as cleaning it, and what you're using for your own self-care products, shampoo, toothpaste. So you're in control. You're the healer in your house, but we're here to guide you if you are looking for different natural solutions in your house, and you can't find it in the resource books, or you're not sure when you look in the resource book. That's what we're here for, to reach out to. Yeah. And honestly, like, you're offering huge value, and it's well over half the value of the kit that you're giving people for free. But the real value is being able to have us as a resource, I'm not being selfish here to have Dr. Martin as a resource, but I'm there as well. But it's really super important to have a little guidance too.
Yeah, that's great. So if you're interested in knowing more about this, taking to choose this opportunity now in August 2018, then you just need to email me and we set up a telephone call or set how to go about it. And you email me at martin.fransson@welledge.se. So I'll take in Swedish as well. martin.fransson@welledge.se. And we can discuss it further from there. Also down below here, whether you're listening to it or seeing, there's also a link to my Doterra business site. So if you want to go in there and see what it is, but the best is to take direct contact with me and we go from there.
Absolutely.
So thank you for taking the time to seeing this, watching this, listening to this. And Dr. Pat, thank you for your time. And
my pleasure. Thank you so much for having me here. I don't think I'm going to leave. I love Stockholm.
That's great.
Yeah.
Looking forward to have you here soon again.
Great. We'll be here.
Thank you.